What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another video. And in today's video, we're going to go over some of the Market Mondays. I love Market Mondays. It's when we take a look back at what's happened in the week previous and we kind of break it down to see if it helps you in any way, whether you're buying or selling, or even if you're a real estate agent like myself. My name is Jorge de Jesus with Century 21, and this is my assistant, best assistant in the world, Young Emmanuel. He just woke up, so we have about 10 minutes before he starts crying, so let's get right into it. So, what we're seeing here is um, I want to get into January for 2022. We're recording this Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day, February 2022. I want to get into January 2022 as a whole so we can look at some of these numbers here. So this is put together by the Houston Association of Realtors in collaboration with a few other entities that all they dedicate their time in doing is studying real estate, which is kind of neat for me because it helps me understand what's going on so I can inform my clients, I can inform my team members, I can inform uh, anybody that's even considering entering into the real estate arena as a buyer, seller, or agent. So we want to look here. The most transactions that we deal with, so those are the things that we're going to talk about, are going to be your single family homes and your country homes. I we primarily as a team work with the Katy area and surrounding. Obviously, we work all over the entire Houston market, but this is what we focus on. So I'm looking here, single family growth. So we're looking at a change over a year, right? So we're comparing this to January 2021. So you'll see here the amount of listings closed. So homes actually sold. So a lot of homes will go on the market. Not all of them get sold within that time range of January or however long it took, right? So every situation is different. So for the month of January 2022, you saw a 7% increase over last year, which doesn't sound like much, but in perspective, it's quite a lot. Uh, Country homes about double that, almost triple that. So what's changed? So this is for the entire Houston market, right? So what we're seeing right now is two things primarily. Obviously, there's other factors, but people coming in from other states, moving into the Houston market. They're also looking at Dallas. They're looking at San Antonio. They're looking at Austin. Two out of those three are per square foot are a little higher price. So here in San Antonio, they're looking at us as a landing spot. So we have the schools, we have the communities, we have these great amenities that people absolutely love that they are missing in their home state. So they come here for that. Okay, so that's why you're seeing this growth, particularly that. And then number two, for country homes especially, so you're seeing suburbs, which we do a lot of business in the suburbs. You're seeing suburbs. There's more and more new construction. There's more and more new communities being built, which is awesome in a sense. But this increase in sale of country homes is in part to people that have been living in the suburbs for a while. Perhaps they've become empty nesters or whatever the case is. But because maybe it's a good time to sell, right? Because, and we'll get into a little bit of this, there's not that many homes for sale. They look at the what they could get for their home. They say, let's sell a suburban home. Let's move out to the country. It's getting a little tight. It's getting a little congested. There's a lot more traffic in our area than there used to be, right? So country homes are super appealing. Hence, this growth. Okay? So dollar volume, we're not going to really worry about that. What we're really worried about is the change in average price over the last year. So you're looking at a 50% and a 16% increase. So what does that mean for you as a seller? You might consider talking to somebody like me who's a real estate professional and talk about selling, right? But what does it mean as a buyer? It means that, look, you're not in any investment, because you should consider your home an investment. In any investment, you should consider it as a trend in the upward direction. But when you look at the previous year, is it realistic that you're going to go back to those years past? Is it realistic that you're going to see a trend downward 16% to 2021 prices, to 2020 prices, to any other of these prices? The answer is more than likely no. Except for maybe like a major event where this all happens. Even then, it typically won't be reverting to that long of a downturn. So would it be a good time to buy? The answer is always yes, because if you decide to wait to time the market, not only is because of inflation your cash worth less, but you're not going to be able to, because here's the thing: if you're waiting, let's say a $200,000, $300,000 home that you've been eyeing, or a community that you've been eyeing, and is primarily $300,000 resale, there's investors in the wings right now buying at those $300,000. So even when that dip comes, those investors or other people who have been in the game a little longer than you are looking at these communities on a more consistent basis, and they're touching base with these potential sellers on a more consistent basis, so that when it is time to exit and panic sell because something crazy happens in the market, those are the people they're going to turn to. So when is the time to buy? Now. When is the time to sell? Now. Okay, so don't try to time the market. You might be left just waiting in the wings for a very long time, or not even pulling the trigger at any point. So we're looking at average and median prices increases at about the same. These are the trends. These are pandemic driven, but more so, I think this is pushing this, right? And it's going to continue to happen, and then it's a cycle, right? So wherever these country homes are, and if you're wondering, he's playing, wherever it is that these country homes are, in 20 years from now, that's where the new suburbs are going to be. And then 20 years after that, that's where the congested suburbs are going to be. And then it continues, and it goes on and on and on and on. Now, the question is the price. Well, the prices are going to continue to increase. Is there going to be an event where things change? I don't know. But what I do know is that right now, if you're considering selling, now's the time. And if you're considering buying, unless you have a magic 8 ball, now's the time to buy. Okay? So one last thing. I wanted to look at, this one. Okay, so another factor to having these prices is supply and demand. So whereas the same time last year, at the beginning of February, right, which is where we are now, at the beginning of February, we had about 3,000 listings. Look where we are at the beginning of February. It's still a lot, but there's 2-3 times that amount of buyers. Okay, so this is driving prices up. This is great for you as a seller to come out to the market, speak to a real estate professional and say, hey, we're looking at these things. We saw Jorge was talking about this on this YouTube video. We want to get some more information. Where do we stand? How do we go about this? And then how do we go about buying? Which there's great tips and tricks to that, especially if you're already a homeowner. And we can get to that in a different video, but don't let this as a seller scare you into buying your next home, because there's plenty of opportunities. You don't have to move out to the country if you don't have to. Or if you don't want to, I should say. But there's absolutely tons of opportunity for you as a seller to be a buyer also. Now, don't watch this as a buyer, not a seller, as a buyer, and say, well, then that's just more doom and gloom for me. No. there's also tons of opportunity for you as well. You just have to work with a professional that knows your needs and they can present options, because there's always options. And we'll get to that in another video. So let's talk about pending. Let's talk about off market. So whenever you're on your home search and you see, most people that I work with are coming to me saying, hey, I saw this on Zillow, it says pending. What does that mean? It means that typically it's under contract. It means also that they might or might not be taking some backup offers, but you might not want to hold on to hope for this one particular property. So as far as the numbers for the pending listings, we're looking at a 23% drop. Now, does that mean then that homes are spending a little time more? Yes, you got it. Good job. Good job. So does that mean that homes are spending a little more time on the market before they sell? The answer is yes. Actually, we're seeing a few more days. So the data for 1 week shouldn't really discourage you as a seller. It's just that, and I just finished watching a few reports that some buyers are giving up. Some buyers are saying, we're throwing in the towel. We're not doing this. We're not doing this anymore. We'll wait and time the market. Probably not the best thing to do, but to each their own. So what does this number mean for you as a seller? Well, it might take a day or two more to find the right buyer. That's it. What does this mean for you as a buyer? Nothing really, because you're still seeing the same amount of homes being sold. The difference here between however many there are and however many are pending is about 100. So you're not really seeing a huge discrepancy here. Homes are still being sold, but maybe at a lower rate than a few months prior. And we can get into that data from December and November, which was a crazy time. It's still a crazy time. So off market, this is a great opportunity for buyers specifically. When you are a seller and you try to sell your home on your own, on average, you're going to leave, I think the last report I saw is anywhere between 11 and 25% of your equity on the table, meaning you never actually get it because you didn't price it right. You didn't price it right. You sold it to somebody that so you gave them a discount, right? Or something happened, or maybe the person on the other side is a better negotiator than you are, and you gave in. So this is what's actually happening across the board. It's 11 to 25%. Anybody who sells on their own, you're leaving that much equity on the table. Oh, the baba. Okay. Well, what do you want to do? This? No? Okay, good. So, as far as the increase in off-market listings, well, I mean, it's negligible at 2%. There's always going to be people that are offering you cash on the side for your home. And you know what? There's easy ways to find it. Just Google them. But, again, you're going to be leaving tons of money on the table. Now, these 923 people, I can guarantee you that on average, 11 to 20 to 25% of that equity that they had in the home is gone. Now, you might say, well, what about if I don't have any equity, but I really want to get out of the home? So there's strategies for that too. And a real estate professional can help you with that. That's not a problem. Let's look at the rest of this report. So actual closings, it just going from pending to actually closing might take a while. These are things that are beyond our control, for the title company to run a title search, to get all the information together for the closing. The lender might need some documents that somebody's having a tough time finding. So just got to be patient with these things, but we are still closing at a pretty consistent pace. All of this stuff, as far as showings and open houses and listing views, I'm not entirely concerned about, because what happens is Now that we're much more digital, right? Now that we're much more digital, you can see and preview these homes digitally, or you can do a FaceTime call and all these things. So these things are not really that worrisome. These things are actually good. They're a sign that real estate as a transaction, real estate as a profession is evolving, right? So I love this trend. It should be lower, but that way, that way the the process is easier for you. The process is easier for everybody involved. Okay, so I think I'm going to leave you with that. We're going to catch up on a few other numbers next time we meet. We have plenty of other data to go through, but I really appreciate your time, and as always, thank you for watching. Say bye bye. We're logging off. Say bye bye. All right. Yay! Good job. You did it.